And let's go spinny, spinny, spinny. Hey guys and gals, sorry about the late start. We had some technical difficulties, but I finally got the girls here. Y'all know Jaimie. Y'all know, well, Bree, we're just going to call her Goat just for the
Goat.
shits and giggles of it.
I changed it to Brie. Go. There you go. There you go.
But, well, we finally did. It took 2.5 weeks, but we finally got it arranged.
We're here.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
see here. There's Jan, there's Enzo, Terry. I'm going to say that's probably Jaimie up there. That one time I was abducted by alien.
Yes.
Will. And okay, what's up, bud?
There you go. See, Enzo.
Oh, shit. Bree Goat.
Hey, babe.
Very cool.
Hey,
Very cool.
Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
what? Oh, hey there.
what's up? Pleasure to be here, sir.
Yes, we're excited.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'll tell you. Hey, John. Good to see you, bud. Um, After I saw you on Chad's podcast here, you know what, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, whenever it
About 2
was,
weeks ago,
it's
yeah.
like I have got to get Jaimie on here, and then when I found out there was a Bree part of it too, it's like,
I
oh
did. I
hell.
was like, I gotta bring my twin.
I was like, yeah, the more the merrier in here. I mean, this place is just, I try to be professional, but damn it, I fail every time, and it just.
It's okay. It
Thank
happens.
you, Spooky. You know what? I always
So
try to be professional as well, but
We
you just
try,
gotta,
yeah.
you have to have
eh,
fun. And so,
you
Yeah,
have to. You have to have fun doing it.
someone earlier today called us. They
Templar.
were like, "Oh, you're professional," and we're like, "I mean, we try. I don't know if we are, but we definitely try."
Well, what I seen once I found your podcast today looked professional.
Oh,
And I
thank
mean,
you.
you guys have covered a lot on there. I mean, you have covered cryptids, you have covered extraterrestrials, you have
everything.
covered everything.
We try to. Sometimes I feel like we're gonna run out of topics, and then we just go in a whole new direction, and it's like we have an unlimited amount of things to talk about, and so we're gonna
Yeah.
keep going until we run out of topics, and then I guess it'll just be us sitting on the internet just bullshitting with each other at that point.
But yeah,
And
people
there's
was like, you
nothing
guys
wrong
should do
with
an
that.
episode on this. And we're like, we already did
We
that
already did
2 years
that.
ago. Or
Go back and
you guys should
look.
do this. We also did that about 2 years ago. So it's, I mean, we went down many rabbit holes. But you know, there's so much mystery out there. You can always find something intriguing to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there is. I was watching a friend earlier from Scotland, and her name's Drew. Also, I'm Drew
Ooh,
one. She's Drew two.
I love that.
And hey, Chad,
Hi, Chad.
John. But she was talking about Scottish folklore and stuff, and
Oh,
she pulls up 7 very popular ones, and I'm just throwing other ones out in the chat, like, well, what about the Black Shook? What about the Ghost Piper of Dundurn Castle? What about and I guess I'm going to be on another friend from Scotland's live stream on the 7th
Nice.
talking about Scottish clans.
Yes.
that's
So
awesome.
Badass. That's what I
I have
mean.
an
Kind of like the
interest.
Jamie,
weird
you going to
rabbit
let
holes
Drew
you.
out smoke you?
Never, never. Probably, maybe you might be able to keep up with me. I'll tell you right now, I probably smoke about a half ounce of weed every 2.5 days at this point. Pretty steady, maybe 3 days
Oh,
if I
wow,
stretch
okay.
it. But I chief pretty heavy. People, people all the time are always like, I can smoke more than you.
Well,
Like, I go to my work and stuff.
I
They're like, I can out. And I'm like, y'all don't understand. Like, I don't even get high anymore. It's just like smoking a cigarette to me at this point. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, next one, let's go.
why are we
Oh
going
no,
spinny,
poor
spinny? We're
Drew,
going
did
spinny,
you?
spinny here.
No, you're freezing.
You're frozen just a little bit.
What's happening?
I mean, it's a cool frozen spot for you.
No, it is a vibe. You look total like a
You're
vibe.
like,
Yeah,
it's
look like
a
a total
Snoop
king
Dogg
of
edge.
edge. Yeah.
So,
I feel you. Yeah. Oh, there you are.
Can y'all hear me?
Absolutely.
yes. Keep on rolling, brother. Chad, we will see you guys later tonight.
Okay,
Yeah,
there
Chad,
you
we
are.
might crush your party. You back, Drew?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Just all of a sudden, everybody started going spinny here, and everything went silent. I'm like, ah, crap.
You know what? The government hates us and is always trying to
I
shut us
live in I
down.
live in Michigan, and you know, I think we probably have like the shittiest internet anywhere in the country.
Chad lives in
So
Michigan,
ours was
and so
out
does
from before 1
Big
a.m.
Willie.
this morning till 6:30 this morning, and nobody can explain to us why.
Jesus,
So,
that's the worst.
My town has really shitty internet
but
too. They're all stuck
geez,
with the same provider. We need to get Elon Musk's internet going, Hook us up to Starlink.
Ooh, the Starlink. Yeah, then we can all have great internet. Did you know that
Then we'll
cruise
just
ships?
call him and blow his Twitter up every time our internet crashes. We can
Cruise
just go directly
ships
to him.
can use Starlink now, and it's a big deal because they had to literally pass a law in order to make it legal to use Starlink on cruise ships. Wild, right? Poor Drew. He's trapped. I liked the other Frozen picture better.
He's trapped. Good for him. We know how to talk by ourselves.
We do, 100%.
You just leave us here. We're fine.
We're here, we're fine.
Comfortable.
Exactly. How's everyone doing
Thank you.
today?
And though for my comment about the room, I'm changing it up.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we both changed our things. We're both different, and we didn't even talk about it.
I'm trying to work my light situation up, and then I took the galaxy thing I had back here off. Mm-hmm. Hold on. I took the galaxy thing down because I'm gonna just fill it with all my pictures. So if I go like that, you guys, it's gonna be a giant wall full of all
Just
of my
pictures.
paintings.
I
Just all my
got
paintings.
that LED light, but I can't turn it
okay,
on.
he's back.
Welcome. Don't worry. We held it together while you were gone.
No, that where professional.
I was counting on that because that's why I wanted professionals on here because the trouble. It's like I was saying when it cut me off. Our internet was out before 1 a.m. this morning. Didn't come back on till 6:30 this morning. Even the internet company can't tell us why. So
It's ridiculous.
You're on your own.
hell's the deal?
Oh no, I think it's frozen again.
It is frozen again a little bit.
It
Just
is.
hanging in there. Hang in there.
Hang in there, guys. It'll work itself out eventually.
There's got to be an easier way of doing this.
Here, I'll show the.
So Chad said, Drew, you might have to turn your cam off until the internet speed back up. That'll help a lot. So if you could just use your audio until the internet picks back up. One of the hardest things about doing a live show is things like this. We all struggle. There's been times I swear where in my screen I look fine, and then I watch the playback, and I'm like, "What happened?" The whole time I was
sometimes your internet speed glitches. Absolutely.
right, and it doesn't to me. And then I watch later, and I'm like,
No. Yeah, it is too bright, Enzo. That's my fucking problem. So I'm super excited. This is what Corey got me for Christmas. This beautiful neon light, and I can't turn it on because it's way too fucking bright. It's like Vegas neon. It's like it wants you to see it from the other side of the country kind of neon.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
I wish I had a dimmer for it. There's no dimmer.
I think what you'll have to do is put your own lights in it.
Yeah.
Maybe a string light if you could.
Or maybe I could just not have a computer from 2011. That might be
I think no matter what, it looks like it's going to be really bright.
It is pretty bright.
And that's a bit intense. You can't have something hella bright behind you.
It was her mic. I know it was bothering me too. Her mic wasn't on. That's because we were in Zoom just a little bit ago. We weren't StreamYard prepared.
We literally ended a 2-hour interview with 20 minutes before we had to jump on here.
It was only supposed to be an hour long, but you know us.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. Just.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna switch my headphones in the meantime to save my good ones for now.
Black picture went off.
But how's everyone's Friday going?
Yeah, how is everyone's Friday going? We're not usually on the internet on Friday, especially not at this time. Riveting, Brie. Thank you. Just no comment. I think she's frozen too. Are you frozen? Can you hear me?
Well, sooner or later, we'll work all this stuff out.
Right? It'll eventually. I don't think Brie can hear me
I
either.
can hear you just fine.
There's like a big delay. Brie looks so confused.
This is weird. I have literally got a Wi-Fi booster right beside my computer.
Oh no.
That's so weird.
What
I tried
happened?
to connect and then it didn't work.
Oh, I
And
was like talking to
Drew came
you.
back right as I was messing with it.
I was trying to figure out what you were doing. And then it froze again.
What is happening?
I don't know.
I have got no clue what's going on, ladies. None whatsoever.
Me either.
This is very weird. I literally have a Wi-Fi booster right here where everything's at, and I keep losing the Wi-Fi.
That's wild.
Well,
but I think we're here now, except for the spinny thing going on with the computer right here, which I'm going to try to remedy that real quick, because I can't see the chat while it's going spinny and stuff.
we can read the chat for you if you like.
Okay.
Enzo blames CERN.
So, JJ's Adventures. It's okay.
Blame
How's your Friday
CERN.
going?
Tony York.
Friday's Friday, man.
Just another day here.
All the week. The crap is over. It's the weekend.
So, are you girls in California?
I was born in California, yes, but I live in Vegas now.
I can't hear Jaimie.
Really?
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's all the power usage in Vegas. I can hear both of you just fine.
You can hear both of us? It's weird that Brie can't hear me. That's so strange.
That is so weird. I only hear Drew. Okay, hold on. I'm restarting. Why did I all of a sudden can't hear Jaimie?
You haven't been able to hear me in such a long time. She'll come back. So yeah, me and Brie are both from California. We're from the Bay Area.
You have no clue. Okay.
That's funny.
Okay.
But yeah, we're both from California originally.
That's my Tony right there. Very cool. Very cool.
I think
we'll wait for Brie to get back, and then I'll try to get this over with before we get interrupted again.
I think there's like a giant delay from when you hear me and when I talk. Oh no.
I can hear you now, Jaimie. That's so weird. Earlier I couldn't hear you. I could only hear Drew. So this is what happens when you start to podcast about the strange and talk to other strange people. Definitely. I'm not a major conspiracy theorist, but I will say that it's strange that it happens all the time.
Constantly.
So, Enzo, the gremlins are multiplying. Yes, Enzo, they are. And around my computer equipment, as many paranormal investigations as I go on, and as many times as I have brought home a ghost in the machine, I expect no less when I'm trying to do something important. I don't know how many times I've tried to edit an investigation to get it on film and get it up on the channel. And just all of a sudden, none of my phone won't work, my camera won't work, my computer won't work, nothing. I mean, it has literally taken me sometimes 20 hours to edit a 1 hour video because everything keeps shutting down.
Oh, absolutely. The paranormal has
Yeah,
some
hitchhikers.
effect on equipment in some way. I think that that's been pretty well documented when dealing with phenomenon in general, is they have a way of manipulating technology 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I tried to be on Chad's
So,
show,
I
that
have
one
to ask,
time, and it went black.
one would think that stable internet could be such an issue. Yeah, you're right, Tony. And we have none. We have the newest version of the modem available in this area, and I've got a Wi-Fi booster literally. Oh, I'm touching it right now. It's so close to me, and we're having all these issues right now. I have the camera hooked up to the Wi-Fi booster, and I've got the computer hooked up. No, I take that back. The computer's hooked up to the booster. The camera's hooked up to the Wi-Fi 75 feet away, and it's working just fine now.
Wild.
Well, let's take advantage of it while we can.
Exactly.
All right. So, yeah, really, that's what I was getting ready to say. Let's get this going. So, how'd you girls meet? That has to be the very first question. Having the experiences that I know your followers know about, how did you two meet? And then I'll follow that question up when you both had a chance to answer it.
Yeah, we met in high school. We were friends with the same person, and so we ended up meeting each other through a mutual friend, and we have been besties ever since. And that was like in 10th grade. Bree was in 9th grade or something like that. Or
yeah, I think I was
grade. I was in 11th grade. Yeah, something wild like that.
Fresh in high school, freshman. And yeah, it's funny. We're not friends with that person that brought us together, and he traumatized me in many ways. But
both
looking
of us,
back,
yeah, for sure.
What a purpose, you know. Sometimes people, I think, are really just there to place you in a certain direction, and it's crazy to think that we're still friends and that we do stuff that we deal with everyday life basically together.
Together, yeah.
Oh wow. So I don't want to go into a lot of detail and I mean the experiences that the two of you had. At what age did this occur, and how long were you friends before you let each other know that you both had the same experiences?
Yeah, so I was about 18 years old and Bree was about 17 years old when it happened. And even though we both had these experiences, neither of us really told anyone about it. We just kind of kept it to ourselves, and we didn't talk about it for like 7-8 years is about how long it was. When we were talking to each other, and what would happen was me and Bree used to get together every Friday night, and we would drink and hang out, and she would be like, oh, do you want to watch Ancient Aliens? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, that sounds so cool. I'm totally into that. Let's do it. And then we'd sit and drink wine, and then eventually over time we would start having conversations, and it just got to the point where we felt comfortable enough, even though we've been friends forever and tell each other everything, we finally told each other that we both were experiencers and we had experiences, and it started us down this path of Bree started down a path earlier, but it started the both of our path together going down this kind of rabbit hole and really getting into this whole like phenomenon side of the world.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you know, it seems silly now that I'm older. I think if something happened to me, I might have been more comfortable sharing it with a friend. But at the time, I think 17 in general, I had a pretty interesting teenage time. My teenage years were kind of wild. And so I obviously wasn't interested in anything deep or serious. And all of my friendships were just kind of about like partying, getting away from our parents, skipping school, you know, to go smoke weed all the time. It was never being like a thoughtful person that actually cared about certain things. So even in my friendship group, I wouldn't have been really open to sharing anything like that because I was having a hard time with it. It's different now, you get older and your world isn't as small as it seemed like it was. So I think it's a mixture of obviously growing up in your teenage years, not feeling comfortable and not having like a background or interest in anything paranormal. I wasn't comfortable with sharing, and I don't think Jaimie was either. I think we were both just like, this is so out of our own realm that it's something that we dealt with privately.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I think did you pause again, Drew?
Or he's just really sitting on the
pondering.
thoughts. It's really like, damn. Even sometimes when I listen to the story, I'm like, this is fucking weird, Jaimie.
Yeah.
So you hear a lot of experiencers and what it's like, and some of it very true, very heartfelt things, but taken from the mass, what you hear about from experiencers.
Oh no.
The paranormal internet is right.
That is
Trapper
the correct
Paul.
answer. Yep. Trapper Paul. What do you trap? Leprechauns?
R.
I don't know why that was my first thought was leprechauns.
And why did I say R when you said leprechauns? I said R. R,
No,
matey,
pirates.
I'm a leprechaun.
No pirates. Mm-hmm.
I'm a pirate leprechaun. I put my leprechaun painting up on the wall, and I almost threw it away. I was like, I should throw this away.
No, never.
And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just keep it.
What a magical
I miss when
being.
I did, the cryptid pictures or the cryptid paintings.
I don't know why you still don't do it. You still can. No one's stopping you but you.
It's just not as inspiring. But what I'm really inspired about is making those Yule lads. I would love to make those damn Yule
Please do
lads.
it. Why aren't you doing it? That's what you should be doing.
How do you make a doll out of nothing?
No, I need you to paint, like draw it or paint it so that way I can photocopy it and put it on merch. Because I can't steal other people's pictures of it.
Why? I'm just kidding.
Because I can't do that, literally.
No.
Says the lady.
Me.
No, says the lady who, when I used to like crop out certain parts of pictures off of things I found on Google when we first started the podcast, she would get so mad at me and be like, "You didn't make this building from scratch. You got it from Google. How dare you?" Like literally, she used to do that shit to me. Did you not?
No, absolutely. And I still even if I look at someone's presentation and they have a copy and pasted from Wikipedia, bad,
mad, angry.
Yeah.
Change 3
anyway,
words.
Josh convinced me that I need a 3D printer because we can make a probe, golden probe, and then now I can 3D print the Yule lads.
If Josh wants to buy the 3D printer, then for sure.
I need a 3D print a 12-foot tall Krampus.
Oh, I agree.
And put him outside for Christmas. Tell me that wouldn't be awesome.
It would be.
That would just change the whole block. Everyone would have like lovely Christmas stuff, and then I'd have this like Krampus.
Mm-hmm.
Come here, my children.
Drew, are you back?
Well, the camera looks better.
It does.
I think so.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Oh, it was false.
All right, I'm gonna try this.
Enzo, you were correct. You should 1,000% ask Ron about your 3D printing needs.
Like, can I work something out with him? Like, hey, don't you feel, Rom, like you need a new 3D printer? And don't you feel like you don't want to throw your old one away? I don't know what to trade you for, but we can figure something out.
We'll figure something. She can make you a painting of yourself to hang above your fireplace.
Yeah, I will paint you something. But yeah, I think that would be cool. We're gonna make like the most paranormal looking Christmas now that we know some of the creepier figureheads.
We're going to do another creepy one. Vanessa has a
Yeah.
great point. 3D print little Jerry's. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Wearing little hats. Ugh. Like a little top hat, a little birthday hat, a little Christmas hat.
Is it going to be for Christmas? Jerry the Waterbury looking Mary.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm going to start the merch up. Jerry as
Did
Santa.
you see in Canva I started some Christmas merch?
No, I didn't even see. I've been
started
busy.
some.
I've been busy with
whatever.
things. I've been busy.
Whatever.
No, I've been dying, to be honest with you, just so everyone knows. I have shingles right now.
Can you guys believe that? My
Yeah.
mom almost shit herself when I told her.
Yeah.
They're like, you're supposed to be like way older. I mean, you're supposed to get, I guess, a shingles shot now. Once you turn 50, it's like available for you.
Oh, wow.
To think that you're way before even
And
the
this is
age
not-
to get the shot to prevent it is
And
like.
This is not the first time I've had it. That's the funny part. I had it when I was like 10 or 11 years old. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah, you have shingles. And my mom was like, how the fuck does that even happen? This is an old people disease. And the doctor was like, she just has it. And she was like, well, what brought it on? What brought it on? The doctor goes, stress. It's stress. And my mom's like, my daughter's like 10 years old. How can she be stressed? And the doctor's like, science.
The doctor's like, ma'am, look in the mirror. You are the mother
Right.
here.
What have you been doing?
You're just your 10-year-old self is like pointing at your
Yeah,
mom at the
yeah.
doctor, like.
Yeah. It was bad the other day. Like, I literally couldn't sit down. It hurt to sit down. I'm chill right now. It's almost gone. I'll be fine.
Yikes.
I know. The world is a wild place.
That's all right. I told you this goes back to my whole very messed up conversation about how about messed up as in how I got my point across because it was not received. About now like God, a creator, whatever, now buying our body parts from the Dollar Tree. 'Cause
Yes,
the funds ran out. So
Funds
now
ran out.
the younger people are getting all kinds of stuff that people are like, you're not supposed to get that till you're so much older.
I love that we can joke about that now because in the heat of the moment, you were so angry. It was so funny. And we were like trying to poke jokes, and the more we poked jokes, the angrier you got. It was great. Are you back, Drew?
It's all
God,
good, we
I
see
hope
you.
so. I just missed everything that y'all said. I don't know what the deal is here.
It's okay. We were just vibing, talking about life.
So did you answer the question about how everybody else's experiences
No, we didn't get
compared to
your
your
question.
own? Oh, okay. Well, before we had the massive issues again, I was asking, you know, we all hear stories about people who have had experiences and stuff like that. How did your own experiences compare to what other people have talked about, and how were they similar to each other's?
Oh, I'm going to say that the version that you see a lot on TV when they describe abductees, and I think it also has to do with back in the day when there was definitely a certain type of abduction scenario going on. It was more intense, a lot more fear-based, like Taken, and just really awful. But I feel like once we started podcasting and people started to write into us, and this is before we even shared any of our experiences and our stories, what people were telling us was so similar to what we had experienced. And it started to really click in our heads, like this is so common, especially dream time experiences. People would have dreams and the things that they described were like things that I have seen and have experienced, and to hear other people really struggle with the same things of like, am I crazy or am I not? Because this isn't a dream, but it felt so real. To hear that, it's like someone's like reflecting back to you what you think of yourself. And that was really eye-opening for me to see that this was a huge phenomena, that it isn't just flesh and blood here in the 3D. It definitely transcends, I think, time and dimensions and how it communicates. That was the biggest eye-opener for me.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with you in all honesty. Like, it's what you see in Hollywood and TV is so drastically different than what actual people are having their experiences as. And then when you start to talk to people, you find so many similarities, yet so many differences at the same time too. Like, even though me and Bree are both, you know, quote unquote experiencers, although I think we don't necessarily like being called that or that word, our experiences with ET, whatever it is, are completely different, although drastically the same at the same time. I would describe mine as being more of a physical, and hers is more of a dream time. Is there a difference between the two? We don't think so. We think that there's a lot of similarities that cross over between those two things. I don't think that what happens in dream time or in states of meditation is considered not real. I think that that is very much so things that are happening, just maybe not in our physical reality.
And I think we really started to realize the importance of that once we started getting feedback from other people. I think
absolutely.
It was always hard for me to feel like I had this tremendous experience, but most of it feels like it's in this completely like etheric realm. Although a lot of the time it would pull back into my normal reality, you know, with like different premonitions and things that I saw and then I would then see in real life. It was still very like, well, this is just in a dream thing. And I think the overall public, especially like academia, they will push things with dreams aside because, of course, the mind is crazy. It makes things seem real. It does all these things. So it's easy to dismiss that. But when you got so much other feedback from people that are saying the exact same things, you're like, okay, maybe this isn't my mind just going haywire and dreaming random things. If there's a certain similarity and it's repetitive over and over and over again with people that feel just like I do, there has to be a coincidence there. And I really don't think we even understood that the dream state could be a possibility of contact until we heard all the other feedback other than my own. It was like, whoa, okay, this is happening to people everywhere. This is strange. So this must occur somehow.
Wow. Now, during your experiences, okay, you said you don't like the term experiencers. Do you prefer abductees?
Oh no, you can just forget about that. I think
it's just there's so much stigma behind the title experiencer. I think it's not that we don't like being called it. It's just such a weird world, and everyone tries to put everybody into boxes and like claim them to be like this or that. And like experiencer is just another one of those things where I think once you get called it, people like, I don't know, they think of you in a certain way, like, oh, experiencer, that's the group you're in. It's like, no, it's not in a group. I literally just had an experience. And so you can call us that. So it's not necessarily the word itself. It's more just the idea around putting people inside boxes and trying to just, I don't know, put all of us in like a box. Like when you hear experiencer, the first thing people think is, oh, that crazy person. So it's like, it's that stigma behind it.
Definitely better than abductee. I don't like that
I don't
term.
like abductee. Yeah, I don't like that.
Because I think then people assume that you then have to be like, I remember being taken. I remember being
the spaceship,
on a bed.
yeah.
Not that I dreamt it, that I remember physically being there. I remember what they looked like, what they did to me. And so at least experiencer is so much broad, such more of a broader term. But yeah, I think Jaimie is just more speaking to how sometimes the community puts people in tremendous boxes once you say you're an experiencer. But that's okay. You can call us that. I think we're comfortable with it. It's just knowing that the box that we'll be, you know,
put in that box. Yeah.
Well, I was actually going to say, you know, during your experiences, but I didn't know if you preferred, you know, experiences or abduction.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Experiences, yeah.
Experiences, definitely.
my screen was behind. I think Bree just answered about she remembered what they look like and everything. Jaimie, do do you remember what your abductors look like? Was
No.
it the same? Oh, you don't?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. I don't remember any of my abduction in a sense of like having like flashback memories or like remembering it as it happened or being like under hypnosis and remembering it or anything like that. I have a general idea of what I believe happened to me after our tons of years of research and talking to other people who have had experiences as well. I kind of have an idea of what I think happened, but I don't have any concrete memories, proof, or anything like that when it comes to like the one initial quote unquote abduction experience that I had.
Yeah. And have never, I like, that's why I don't like the term abductee, because I don't think
Same.
that I was ever really physically taken anywhere. I don't have any remembrance necessarily other than dreams. The only beings I have seen are in meditation and then also in a dream state or under the influence, I guess.
But it's not to say that we haven't both seen like physical crafts and have had UFO sightings, because we've definitely had those as well.
That's for sure. I think that's what happens mostly now.
Yeah.
We're always seeing craft. That's one thing for sure we always see in the physical. And that itself is just being an experiencer. Like if someone sees a UFO and they, they're like, whoa, this is life-changing. Like you're an experiencer. So I think that we just have the experiences that we're having are on like multiple different levels. But I do feel that at this point, it's, at least for me, definitely like dream related or, just sightings and stuff.
Now, see, we talked, a second about my own experiences, and I don't ever recall leaving my bedroom.
See?
It seems like every time I wake up as they're starting to move me, and whatever they do right there in the room. But I've never. I told you what the beings look like. I mean, they were just a pillar of light. So I mean, if somebody said, "Hey, is it a reptilian? Is it a gray? Is it I don't know. It's a pillar of light."
Light, yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first thing I definitely saw as well. When I say under the influence, it's only because of a crazy salvia experience I had. But that was like the first thing I saw were beings that were pillars of light. I can relate to that. But that it's a being, especially in that sense, because it was like a telepathic communication. So it's like, it's a being, even though what you're seeing is just a pillar of light. So you can't make anything out. But it's like, you consciously just know that that is a being, that is its own sentient consciousness right there, which is very difficult to explain.
Absolutely.
Can one of our mods do that? Because I know we have at least 2 mods in here right now. If someone could please drop our link.
Oh, yeah. Enzo could probably.
You could type in that one time I was abducted by aliens on YouTube.
Just literally on Google, it'll bring up our website, our YouTube.
Even TOTIWABA I looked the other day just to see what pops up on Google.
Oh, it pops up.
Both of them, like the whole page. I'm like, damn,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I used keywords when I made the website, so they would pop up when you searched. Something like CSIO marketing shit. I don't know how to explain it. I just know how to do it.
CSI.
Yeah, CSI
there you
on
go.
The internet. Perfect.
Okay,
thank you, darling.
I think.
Nature Journeys.
Okay, I've got everybody now. All right. I think. Oh, no, there's Nature's Journeys. Let me get Nature's Journeys real quick. I have this general rule, guys and gals. When you come in my chat the first time, you're family. And if, I know who sent you or where you came from, I'm tossing wrenches like free beers out of the fridge.
Love that.
Beer birds out of the fridge. I love that.
So I think I just got Enzo. I've got Michael. I got Spooky. which I've never had in a chat before, even though I've watched him several times.
Spooky, spooky.
They all got wrenches now, so. Enzo, he's been in here for before, but not in a long time.
We love Enzo. Enzo's our space daddy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Science daddy.
Space daddy.
Oh, well, I like space daddy.
Yeah, we call him space daddy from now on.
But he's sciencey.
Gonna be my space daddy.
Space daddy.
Space daddy.
Serving up them hot, fresh baked UFO experiences.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go.
I have a whole backstory for Enzo in my head.
You have to come back sometime and share it.
Oh, absolutely.
Matter of fact, we might even get Enzo up here too the next time, and y'all could just tell stories about each other.
Stop. I love Enzo so much. He's a little sweet.
Yeah.
So how have your experiences changed you? You know, when I met Jaimie the first time, she was doing card readings. Did you have any interest in doing card readings before?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I literally only do card readings because of Chad. I don't feel like I have any, I wouldn't say that I'm psychic or anything like that. We start every episode or every show that we do and I say like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just pulling cards and reading what they say. We joke around that our spirit guides are doing it and stuff like that. But what was your question? I forgot what your question was.
How's it changed you?
Oh, changed me.
How's your experience changed you?
So what I'll say is something me and Bree were talking about earlier today. When I look back at me pre-experience, I'm a completely different person than the person that happened after that. I lived life a completely different way. The old version of me who was like, you know, this not awakened, I say like kind of like a robot, like just living life, doing my job, paying my bills, partying, doing very earthly things. And I don't think on such a small scale anymore. I think on a much larger scale about much bigger and grander things. And that would be the biggest difference I see. It's like, I feel like I'm finally living now. Before I was just kind of like in a little circle loop. And now I'm like outside of that and actually experiencing life and not just the rat race of life.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. What about you, Bree?
I am, man. Since that day, a completely different person. Probably like night and day. Very obviously, night and day. I don't even like when Jaimie brings up old stories. She'll be like, no, the old Bree would do this. And it's like, oh, you don't even understand. Old Bree this. And I'm like, I don't even want to hear it because I just feel like it wasn't me. For a while, I was almost convinced that I was a walk-in. I don't know if like you've heard of that phenomena of like other. Yeah. So for the longest time, I truly thought that I was a walk-in. Because I almost don't even remember most of my life, but I know that could also have to do with like memory issues and there's trauma blocks. So that also comes into play. Oh, Dad's here.
Dad's here.
But I definitely am completely different. And I think that the biggest thing is not being self-absorbed, is thinking about others. Yeah. I think about others and the karma that I collect on the universe with other people more than anything. And I think before I was very self-centered and only into a few things that directly related to me. And now I just see myself as like a conduit for everything. So if I do something out of spite, I know that that's going to generate some type of karma for me. And I just don't even want to touch that. I just feel like it's like it was a major spiritual awakening for me, but also just an awareness, a huge self-awareness. And that just makes you question every single thing you do and say, you know? It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that from my own experiences. I can see that. because mine basically, first it was the death thing, then it was the coma thing, and I don't know if girls have ever heard of coma psychosis, but that's what when I questioned my nurses and my doctors and stuff about some of the things I experienced when I was in the coma, that's what they attributed to was, oh no, that couldn't have really happened to you. It was coma psychosis. Your brain just made shit up because it wasn't getting any input. So
Where did all those thoughts come from? They were based in something.
It's so much easier just to say that than it is to even entertain the idea that something is happening to the brain when it's in those states. And that's why I think it's just so much easier to write that off, unfortunately.
that's what you get for dealing with a bunch of damn professionals in white coats.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The academic world has major issue, I think, with this entire subject, and I think it always will, because you pay so much to go to school for something. You're taking, a billion different tests and finals, and you really have to get everything down, and you get certified, and then one day some random occurrence can happen that throws half of the things that you've learned
out the window,
out the door. And it's, I think, too much for people to put on the line, so they would rather pretend it doesn't exist.
Nature. I actually just had a chance to talk to the girls about it just seconds before we started showing, or before we started doing the stream. Back in 2016, I went into diabetic shock. And I got married on the 25th of June. We went to the beach on the 4th of July. I took one drink of a beer, threw my guts up, fell asleep on the bench. They got me in the car at the end of the day. The next morning, I woke up and I couldn't move. Wow. So I wound up going to the hospital. We got to my nearest hospital. The doctor said, this guy is dying. We need to get him to Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I flatlined the first time pulling into the ER. They brought me back, got me inside into the ER. I flatlined a second time. They brought me back, and then a little bit later, I started flatline again. My lungs started failing, and they induced a coma. I was in a coma for about a week and a half. And during that coma, I remember being in pure white rooms. One of the beds that I remember waking up on was actually hung from cables from the ceiling. It was like a huge, heavy sheet. And it was all spread out, and it was like up around me, like a big clamshell all around me. And I'm laying there, and I remember waking up and I was rocking and trying to scoot off the edge of it, because all there was this little tiny radio sitting on a shelf in front of me. Everything white. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this really calm music, and I'm rocking, trying to scoot off the edge of this thing. And a nurse walks in and says, no, you have to lay still. I said, where's my wife? She's outside having a cigarette. She'll be back in shortly. And I said, I'm dry. Can I have something to drink? And they gave me, what I thought ice water. And because it was very cool, very cold. And I actually, I blacked back out again. And then I experienced a similar thing in another room where I was outside and I could feel a wind. It's like the building was part hard building, and the rest of it was just sheets hung up. And once again, I was suspended in this sheet thing, and nurses were coming in and out and stuff like that. But this time I actually saw my wife. And I'm like, hey, they were just talking about a smoothie on this TV screen. I want a blueberry strawberry smoothie. The nurse was walking by, and she goes, oh no, honey, you can't have that yet. You're still not stable enough for it yet. And I continuously had those experiences for the entire 10 days that I was out. And then I remember when they tried to wake me up out of the coma, I was sitting in this thing. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those sit-up massage chairs where you lay your face forward and there's a hole, and your face goes through it. And I remember the doctor saying, Okay, he's starting to come around, and my friend that was there with my wife, my mother-in-law at the time, said, oh Jesus Christ, we got to start dealing with his mouth again. And please excuse me, you guys know that I don't usually do a lot. Well, here lately I've been doing a lot more cussing because there's been a lot of emotional stuff going on. But
Yeah.
I remember saying, "Fuck you, Derek."
Who's Derek?
And Derek was my friend that was there with my wife
Oh, okay.
and my mother-in-law. And clear in my head, clear as could be in my head. Fuck you, Derek. And
Chelsea.
I
Yeah,
heard
fuck
Derek
Chelsea,
say, "Okay, I
exactly.
better leave the room before he comes to and kicks my ass."
Oh shit.
And when I asked my wife about it later that day, when I was actually out of the coma, I said, "Did you guys hear me talk to Derek?" The doctor said I was coming to, and Derek made that little crack, and I said, "Fuck you, Derek." And my wife said, "All we heard was." I'm like, "Now wait a second, damn it!" And she's like, "No, seriously, all we heard was."
Yeah, we didn't hear shit. That's
But
crazy.
did he say it?
Yes, he actually said,
Oh
"Oh my
shit.
God, you mean we got to start dealing with his mouth again?"
Yeah.
And he did say, "Okay, I'm going to leave the room before he
It
kicks my
kicks my
ass."
ass.
But that's not why. She said, something about, me hearing a voice, not knowing where I was, everything. The doctor wanted my wife to be the first one talking to me, and my first response was to Derek. So,
Fuck you, Derek.
but that was my
Derek, yeah.
experiences in the coma. It was pretty screwed up, dude. It was very, very, very screwed up.
It sounds like one of those like dream circumstances where you're just like it's so elusive. You're just kind of wishy-washy all around and no control.
Yeah. So, getting back to the how have you changed since the experience thing, have you noticed any heightened senses? Have you noticed any new abilities? Have you noticed any um well, we'll leave it with that. Have you
I'll
noticed
say
any
I don't ever say that I have like anything like abilities or anything like that, but I've always said that I've been a slightly psychically inclined, and not in a sense that I have any control of it or like I can like read somebody, but I've always kind of equated it to like I think I'm just really plugged into the collective consciousness, and I'm able to just grab out information out of it sometimes. And like I said, no control over it. It happens just on its own. I feel like sometimes I just say things and they just it is what it is. I say something and I'll give it an example. I had a friend one time who barged into my kitchen and was like, "I have to tell you something." And I just looked at her dead in her eyes and I was like, "You're pregnant, it's a boy, and you're gonna have him on my birthday." And she was like, literally like, "What the fuck? I just found out I was pregnant." And I have no idea why I said any of those things. I didn't like think about it before it came out of my mouth. It just like came out of my mouth. And sure as shit, she was pregnant. She had a boy, and she had him on the day after my birthday. It was one day after my birthday. But like that was pretty fucking close to like what it was that happened. And so it's like I always have those weird situations like that where like I just have like an inkling, or like and again I have no control. I don't think about it. I just say it, and then it like ends up being like the thing, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that happens sometimes." But like I said, zero control. Wouldn't call it an ability. Like I said, I think I'm just plugged into the collective consciousness, and sometimes I'm just able to I'm a conduit for information sometimes.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that everyone can be like that.
Yeah,
I think
everybody.
I think it's really dangerous when we start to be like, "Oh, I have this ability and I have
Exactly.
that ability," especially when it's after contact. Um, I will say that like things that I had before I had any contact, and if anything, I think it's more of that awareness that comes with after your experiences, that then you
Okay.
listen more to that inner voice. I think, yes, some people are born with those abilities just full on tap, it's wide open. But I also think that it's available to everybody.
Everybody.
And it's just the more that you trust those instincts, the more you're usually right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely, I guess like a psychicness. Clairsentient is very strong for me. Empathic, I dislike, but yes. And then sometimes a bit of a paranormal thing for me. And so, again, a lot of those things I had before, but I think it really is more of a byproduct of just paying more attention and to trust yourself more than it is of all of a sudden you've been gifted abilities. I
Yeah.
think it's really just
Agreed.
paying attention. And sometimes those things come naturally to people, and other people you just have to try harder. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, that I think it's like a muscle. I think if
Yeah,
you
I
practice
couldn't.
more, if you work more, that muscle, that ability is stronger. But we're definitely all born with a sense of intuition.
Yeah, I was going to say it's so important what Bree's
So
saying that
strong.
everybody has this ability. This isn't special to one individual or one person. It's just like when you talk about things like remote viewing or things like that, it's something that you can do. It's just you need to figure out, hone it, get into it, and then kind of take off from there. But everybody is capable of reaching into the collective consciousness, receiving downloads, being psychic, being intuitive. Those are all things that us as human beings are 100% capable of.
I think almost everyone's probably had an instance where they could be like, "Oh, I'm not psychic, but there was this
But
one time
there's
when,
this one time,
like
exactly.
this happened and then it exactly was true." And again, it's trusting yourself. I think it's so hard to trust yourself when you have a strong feeling about something, but usually if you follow that, you're right. And then, people will be pleasantly surprised like, "Man, I knew that. I just knew it all along." And it's like, yeah, trust that. You were gifted with this. I
Well,
think we
think
were
about
meant
it.
to live more connected lives than we currently do.
Yeah.
I think our bodies were made to be like this.
Well, and if you think about like equate it to like almost like athletes, right? Like we could all technically be athletes if we just like went out there and like trained and did all the stuff. But there's also people out there who were born more inclined to be athletes, and that's why they're famous athletes. So if you think about your abilities and your powers in that kind of a sense, if you want to call them abilities and powers, 'cause I don't really like calling them that, but that you equate it to that, like we all are capable of those things. It's just about either you're naturally, you can go do it and it comes easy for you, and some people have to work really hard for those things, and some people don't want to take the effort to do those things because it's not interesting to them.
Oh man, and there are stories of people that really had nothing come to them and just never gave up and made sure to do their at least 15 to 45-minute meditation a day and XYZ, and then bam, now they're like, touch my hand, I'll tell you like your entire background. So it really is that as well.
Oh, wow. Now, you mentioned earlier with academia accepting, the experiences, the abductions, whatever. With the government just last year releasing all of the footage and the formerly classified material that yes, we have been visited by extraterrestrials. Yes, the military has got hours and hours and hours of footage and radar and everything. Jet pilots, airline pilots. Since all that was finally released to the public, do you think that the day will ever come when the common man is just going to say, well, they hid this from us for 75 years, maybe they hid this from us too, and hid this from us and didn't tell us this whole story?
I think me and Bree are at the later end of that story. We're 100% could give two shits less about what the government has to say when it comes to basically anything, because they're quite frankly a giant useless organization that does nothing but terrorize us. But Well, I'm just saying, like, if
Use
you look
that,
back
though.
instinctively at all the horrible things that the government has done, they've come out years later and told us about all the horrible shit that they've done. And so I don't know why people today are like lining up like little starving children being like, please, can I have some more soup from the government, when like historically they haven't given us good soup.
Well, yes, or what they do is they say, we have a soup. We think
Yeah.
it's a special soup, but we're
And it's
going to
not.
give you a taste later. And then when they give you the taste later, they turn around and say it's drones. So I just think that it's they have set people up to believe that there's this big disclosure with a capital D moment happening. And I think that we have already seen that what does come out is kind of a ring around the rosy. It's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, hokey pokey bullshit. Right now the biggest thing is waiting for the next report, because the first one let us all down.
Yeah.
The congressional hearing let us all down. And that's half of the problem, is when you let yourself get excited about those things. I've compared this scenario on another show before to like your ex-boyfriend that is bad for you.
Yeah.
But why do you get excited every time he comes back and he's like, I promise
and
I'll
he
do
texts
better?
you, yeah, at 2 a.m. being like, you up?
Drunk text, yeah.
Yeah. It's always the
but
same.
It never ends up good. It's never the right choice for you. Like, you don't believe the bullshit this time. And I think we know that what would come out is only what's convenient for them that you know.
Mm-hmm.
They will never share anything that is inconvenient for you to know. It's always going to be the sprinkles of what isn't going to put anything else at jeopardy. So that's always going to be literally like one noodle of an entire pasta.
And I think to the other part of your question about is there ever going to be a day? Absolutely not. Because the problem with that is that everybody's version of quote unquote evidence is completely different. I think that you could have the president flat out on the White House lawn being like, aliens are real. And there would be people out there who would be like, okay, where's your proof? Okay, who's forcing you to do? Like, there's so many things that would happen. Or they would come out with one video like they have with their government videos, and people tear it apart and they look at other things and they're like, this is awful. This is a drone. It comes back out and it's not really what they say it is. It's like, like Brie was saying, this never ending circle of this quote unquote day of disclosure, this permanent, this is the day where the lid is blown off. I don't think is ever going to happen, because I just don't think it can in any capacity on a large scale, because we literally can't agree on anything as a group, as society, like at all.
Thank you, Russell.
Love you, Brass.
Yeah,
Sniffers.
that's why I just bowed my head down for a little bit. I seen what Brassel put up there. It's like my favorite. What do you say? My favorite doorway sniffers.
We did an episode on Tuesday on the Yule lads, which are an Icelandic kind of tradition of Christmas, and they're these little things that come down and do different things, and one of them are doorway sniffers, and they're smelling for if you make delicious bread, so they can come in and steal it.
Little bastards better stay away from my cookies.
Yeah, they just stand in doorways and they sniff, waiting for baked goods.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
we learn a lot in the
cryptic
Cryptid Corner. We learn a lot in the Cryptid Corner. Every week's an adventure over there. And we do a drinking game. It's every Tuesday. It's wild.
Oh, I love you. Finally got around to the Yule lads. I'm gonna have to watch it. Nah, I'm gonna have to watch it. That's all there is to it.
You are.
So how long have you guys had the podcast? What made you decide to do the podcast? And then we'll touch on the rest of the podcast thing here in a minute.
We are in our 5th year of podcasting. It's been a long road. It's weird to me, even saying 5 years, it's a long time, but at the same time, it feels like it's not. But yeah, it's been 5 solid years of this being our number one interest in life. We decided to podcast because at the time there wasn't anyone else really doing it. That's completely not the case now. Now we are one of hundreds of people. But at the time, there was no one else, especially not females. We were literally like the only people I can think of. So we had no one that we were listening to, and we didn't have anyone to talk to about it other than ourselves. And it was kind of like we're sitting on a ton of things that we've researched and that we could talk about, and we have these fantastic conversations with each other. An outside person actually told us that we should podcast, and we just went with it one day, and we had no idea what we were doing. We do a little bit now, but man, we have gone like bounds and leaps from where we have been. Holy crap.
Our first episode is literally unlistenable.
Like,
Literally.
no, like it should not be online. It should not be anywhere.
No, it's awful, but it is.
It was
It's
really
everywhere.
awful. But again, I mean, this is 5 years ago with zero knowledge. I feel like I barely knew how to use my own computer. So we just learned one step at a time. And I think it's rewarding when you get something down that you had no idea what to do, like how to use this. How did we make this happen? And I think we've just learned so much since then. We're always picking up new things that we can do. And that also, I think, keeps us going because we're constantly learning. We're constantly learning new tricks and things. And I think the entire thing is fun.
And we started off completely different than where we are now. We started out in an audio only format where there was no video involved. It was heavily edited. It was very information packed. The way we researched was completely different than how we do now. If you were to listen to a podcast episode versus one of our YouTube videos, it's a completely different show.
And I think it's just because we had done all of the topics, I feel like, all of the things that I think people are still doing now. When it's like, but we took care of that in the first couple years. We really went heavy. And then it was like, all right, let's let loose. Let's just play a little bit more.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes that, but I feel like we've earned the right to play a little bit.
Yeah, the podcast is on literally Apple, Spotify. If you go to that one time I was abducted by aliens.com, it's on our website. You could listen to it from the website.
But yeah, SoundCloud, I mean, you name it.
Quite honestly, Trapper, I found them today. I was working on Sunday's video, trying to get as much of it done as possible. I found them today just typing in TOTIWABA girls. TOTIWABA ladies, and it popped up on my search under Apple.
Everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. That one time I was abducted by aliens. www.
It sounds like it would be like an OnlyFans when you're like TOTIWABA girls. It sounds like it would be
something inappropriate. Yeah,
super.
What? The TOTIWABA girls wash each other's back in the shower.
Oh, I love that.
Probe each other.
Ooh.
The two probe get down.
And some of our old podcast episodes are on YouTube. They are on there, so you can go to YouTube and find them. Everything is kind of categorized. It'll be like in the playlist podcast episodes. We used to do like interviews, all sorts of stuff.
And I was so happy to hear you guys talk about going back and looking at some of your old podcasts and stuff, because you guys are new to my channel. Yesterday was my 1 year re-anniversary to YouTube. I've actually been going since 2018.
Oh, nice.
And last November 30th, I got word that somebody had turned in 3 copyright strikes against me because my investigation just blew up. And we started getting real popular. We almost hit 5,000 subscribers. And I mean, we went from 3,500 almost 5,000 in like a month and a half.
That's crazy.
And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 consecutively 3 copyright strikes. But when I tried to contact the people, find out what I had taken of theirs, they were all fake emails. So
that's not fair. How does YouTube back that up then?
Yeah.
Well, because of COVID, YouTube had got rid of everybody in their phone room and the computer was handling the complaints, but there was no number to get a hold of to dispute them.
Oh my God, you lost your channel?
So I lost my income. I lost 5,000, 4,700 subscribers. I lost 900 videos.
Wow.
I lost everything, and I restarted again December 1st last year.
That's
So,
awesome.
That's good though. Getting back
I
to it.
wasn't good.
Just
So
don't stop.
I'm just so happy
Never.
that old shit's not where anybody can see it anymore.
It's good then. You could start over fresh.
Yes.
It's hard to get subscribers on YouTube. I think it was for a while. I think for me, I almost just wanted to go back to being audio only because I felt like our episodes were better put together and I felt like maybe it was respected more. I mean, we would have like 5,000 downloads an episode, and that's just not the case today. And that was kind of hard to see. But I also see that, the YouTube algorithm is different. There's also a lot of politics, I think, in the entire YouTube alien realm, which is kind of sad. But then at the end of the day, I think we have a great show. I think we put it on together pretty rad. It's entertaining for me just to show up. And I guess at the end of the day, what else could I be looking for?
Yeah, we're having a good time. That's all that really matters. And as people keep showing up and enjoying themselves, we're going to keep doing it.
So,
Die happy.
what, let's talk about some of the subjects you've covered on your podcast. Like I said, I had a chance to go through some of them today and just glance at some of them. And it's like, my God, these two have literally covered everything and some things 2 or 3 times. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what were some of your favorite subjects of certain podcasts that you've done?
I think the thing with favorites is like it. Okay, I'll let you go first then.
If you don't have, do you don't have a favorite at all?
Well, no, because I was gonna say because mine change so constantly. Like right now, my favorite thing is like cryptids. I love when we look into cryptids. I'm enjoying the whole cryptid route. I'm enjoying a little bit of the paranormal route right now. But like me, a year and a half ago, absolutely not. I wasn't into either of those things. So I'm constantly kind of changing what my favorites are. So like my favorite right now is I really love the cryptid stuff that we're doing. But if we're talking just our old stuff, the old stuff I would have to love would be probably when we did Abduction Hotline, when we used to listen to the voicemails and do them. Yeah, I loved doing those, especially like the funny ones when people would call in and it would just be like a hilarious voicemail that we would listen to.
That's why I didn't like it, because it just wasn't serious. It was like a joke, and I just felt
I thought it was so funny. Yeah, that's why I loved it. I loved it. It was my favorite when it would be crazy.
So I think I am into the cryptid thing right now, not just necessarily cryptid, but just the paranormal and more folklore things. I definitely am into that right now because I feel like when we look into it, we definitely dive into the history. And I've learned that I actually really enjoy, I think I just enjoy researching things that are mysterious, but I love knowing where something is stemmed from and being able to like explain all of that. But I think when it comes down to like the podcasting stuff, I think my favorite was definitely finding these sort of hotspot areas. One episode I would definitely revisit would be the Colorado. I want to say it's the Monte Cristo, not Monte Cristo, the Santa Cristo mountain range. I think that's right. If anyone is in Colorado, please tell me. I think that's right. That entire mountain range area. I love us finding spots where there's incredible native and indigenous history and also crosses all of the lines of extreme paranormal instances, huge hot spots of UFO sightings, abductions, maybe even cattle mutilations, and then just other things on the area when you find it's an incredibly mineral-rich ground, and maybe even like remnants of old ruins that were there. I think finding spots like that and all of that stuff being mixed all intertwined, that's super fascinating to me, because that makes me want to visit the area. That makes me think that the land itself is so important. To find one spot where all of those things are happening, that's like, whoa. To me, that's really like tickling the G spot, if you will.
I think what's also fun too,
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
what happens over time that we've done is like the more and more research we've done, the more and more we've connected a lot of dots of things, which is why a lot of our viewpoints have changed throughout time. It's like we definitely thought, I think maybe before, as aliens or ET as like one single entity and thing, but now it's so vastly different. Like I wouldn't say a ghost and an alien are that different these days. I would put them more in the same category than I think people would like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we definitely share the cryptid thing. I'm real big into cryptids, and I mean I'm not talking about the Lake Champlain or Nessie or Bigfoot or I'm talking Drew. God love her. That's my sister from the homeland right there. I was watching her earlier, and she was talking about Scottish folklore, and we were talking about this just at the beginning. And she's reading these different Scottish legends off, and I'm in the chat. Well, what about the ghost piper of Dundrum Castle? What about the Black Shook? What about and I'm constantly I'm sitting there and I'm typing this stuff in there, and it's like, oh my God, this is being of Scottish descent myself and being into the paranormal and the cryptids and ufology and stuff like that. I've done a lot of studying in the kind of things I want to hunt when I finally make it back to Scotland. I'll be the first member of my family that's been in Scotland since 1754. So, my wife don't want to go to Scotland before our daughter moves out, because she knows she'll have to anesthetize me to get me back on the plane to come home. I'll never want to leave.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's going to be the old A-Team scenario where they got to drug BA to get him on the damn plane or a helicopter or something to go somewhere. And that's exactly what she's going to have to do, because I swore if I ever went to Scotland, that's where I would die. So, but we definitely share the cryptid thing and the Native American thing. I'm really kind of glad you brought that up, because, we just got done with Native American Indian Heritage Month. And every video I done for the month of November was Native American. Native American folklore, Native American legends, Native American myths.
That could go on forever.
Native Americans you just never really heard of before. I mean, I didn't really touch on Crazy Horse or Geronimo or anything like that. I went with the medicine men or the chiefs or that you really never heard of. And I just I love it. I love it. Hey, Vanessa, good to see you.
Vanessa.
I've been so enthralled listening to everything that they've been talking about. I've not been watching the chat. So I apologize if anybody came in that's new. And, I just hope that one of my wrench carriers, they're not ring bearers, they're wrench bearers. I'm hoping that one of them at least made you feel welcome to the family and stuff, because, we have this rule that once you come in the chat once, you're part of the family. You come back anytime, hang out.
You never go against the family.
Never go against the family.
Never.
So
we love the Native American connection too, and I feel like specifically when we're looking into the cryptid stuff, we go down that path literally every time. Like so many times we find a lot of the quote unquote cryptids that we talk about today are absolutely based in Native folklore, and it's insane how it's like completely twisted and different now to what the version of it we believe in, but you can see exactly where it was rooted and based in, and how the story kind of passed down over time in the version, Hollywood version that we have of everything now.
Oh yeah, beyond a shadow of a doubt. You know, I constantly have this discussion with my 14-year-old daughter how she don't believe in the dog man here in Michigan. She don't believe in Bigfoot. She don't believe, and I have to keep reminding her. You know, there were at one point before white colonization in America, there were 900 different unique nations. And each one of them had a Sasquatch story.
Mm-hmm.
They were all pretty much identical. They were all pretty much the same collars. They made the same sounds. And then you want to go completely off the wall over in Europe, over in the UK, over in Africa, over in the Orient. They also had stories where the creature was pretty much identical to what the Native Americans here. But, they didn't have telephones. They didn't even have telegraph at the time. So how the hell were they telling their stories clear around the world?
When you
So
have a
there
lot of
has
that
to
too,
be
like
validity.
with like, okay, like Bigfoot, right? Like we always say that like Bigfoot, the Yeti, same thing, different environment, so it just looks different. Like you have brown bears, polar bears, like it is the same thing at the end of the day. We both call them bears, but they're also unique to their specific area. And I think that happens a lot of time with a lot of cryptids that we run into, that they have a lot more similarity to a bigger cryptid name than like the one specific that they have to their area. And like a lot of them, like Bigfoot, the swamp ape, stuff like that, like there's so many more connections. And I think that it's like a species, and then you have different versions of these species out there, just like the same way you have humans. Exactly.
What's up,
Definitely.
Nightmare? Good to see you, bud.
Nightmare, long time.
Hi, Beebs.
Oh, I know. Nightmare's my bud, man. He don't get to
love
make it in
Nightmare.
here near as much as I wish. But people have lives.
Yeah, most definitely.
What about
Yeah.
satanic ritual abuse? I mean,
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you about
There's
that.
always that. There's always that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think when it comes to Satanism, a lot of people misunderstand it, and a lot of satanic ritual abuse doesn't necessarily happen in the way that what you're talking about. I think that the people who are doing satanic ritual abuse aren't actual Satanists, and Satanists are just getting a bad rap.
Yeah, no, there's a different term. I don't know if it's Luciferianism, maybe. But Jaimie definitely opened up my eyes to accepting Satanists.
We're not saying we're Satanists. We're
not saying I'm Satanist.
We don't hate them.
But I think that there's definitely different types of Satanists, and the overall term of Satanism is not negative at all. It's probably how most of us live our lives.
Yeah, most like at the root of like actual like Satanism, that like people like who are part of like the Satanic Church, it's literally about like you're your God. You are God. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like your God.
The thing is that people that are just Satanists don't believe in Satan. They don't even believe that there is a being that is demonic or evil or has control. They literally don't believe it at all. They took that term kind of in like a ha-ha to Christianity, that this one person that they demonized was kind of the opposite of their control. So they literally just took that and then created something from it. So, of course, yeah, there's different types of Satanisms. Yeah, maybe it is Luciferianism that is doing that. They definitely use that type of abuse. But what's interesting is so do a lot of other biblical types of, I'm going to use the word cults as well. I mean, look what happens in Mormon churches, especially like the polygamist. I mean, like the LDS, like all of that, like that's severe child abuse. That is child rape. That is, they're doing all of those things too, but they don't have the word Satan attached to it.
And I would call
they
that
have
satanic
Jesus.
ritual abuse.
And
abuse
it is
100%.
absolutely the case. So it's just like when you bring all of that, it's just so murky. And it's just important, I think, for everyone to kind of dabble into the religions just to learn a little bit of background into all of them.
100%.
Sometimes the thing that you think is going to be the most innocent is actually a lot worse than the icon that you demonized.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I noticed that pretty little shelf back behind Bree, and the moon phases and stuff like that. Um, I hate the modern word, so I'm just going to say, are either of you or both of you practitioners?
No.
I'm
not.
definitely not. I'm not a practitioner, but I follow something that I've always had, where things I feel like are not in like a written book or anything. I have inklings to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I always do those things. I've had a very like ritualistic, I think, like my whole life. Where I don't know, like where maybe it's like a lineage thing,
An ancestral thing, yeah.
Yeah, it could be where I've always had like make sure to do. I always do different simmer pots, but I've always been like, okay, let's get bay leaves. We're writing in this, or like think good intentions, breathe this in a bag for me. Like I do like weird stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
I've always had that weird type of inkling, and I've always just done that out of habit. But I don't practice anything other than what like will naturally come to me to do.
Same. And I don't do nearly as many things as Brie does. I would say my best way to describe myself is I'm just superstitious. I follow superstitions. I feel like that's my best way to say it. Like the first of the month, you blow cinnamon in your doorway to help money come in, and like there's things that I know from my past.
Why the hell haven't I heard of that before?
No, that's just a saying. That's what I mean. There's just things that I know that have been passed on and learned to me that I have adapted and I take in. But I wouldn't say that I'm like, how some people like, oh, I'm a pagan or I'm a witch or I do this.
That's why I didn't want to. You didn't want to say the words.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not any of those things, nor would I ever claim to be any of those things because that's definitely a completely different lifestyle that I do not devote myself to. But I would say that I dabble probably in some of the practices that they do. Not intentionally, but just because it's things that I've learned over time and I do them. I think we all do that. We all find rhythms and things, and there's always, there's like, I come from a Jewish background and it said, when your palms itch, that means you have money coming your way. It's like things like that. You pick up on those things and they kind of transcend generations and they kind of keep going on, but it's not like a written down, spoken word thing, like, Yeah,
like I'm a big believer in blood magic.
Yeah,
that's always been my thing. I think even as a kid, I always put a connection to like my blood to what I want or my intention.
I got picture proof of it. One time she was making a cinder pot and she accidentally cut herself and she was like, I'll just bleed into it. And she just
But so like that wasn't an accident. I said I was going to do it and you took the picture. But
I wasn't gonna rat you out like that.
I hope that doesn't like scare people. It's not. I don't do anything. I would never hurt anyone else. But yeah, I've always been very into that sort of thing. I think the only thing I've learned over time that I've really tried to adapt to is like feng shui, and that's always been difficult because once I know where certain placements are, like where they should be, but I can't necessarily move where certain things are in my house. That drives me crazy. But I think that there's some type of truth to the way that energy flows to you, to your house. And that's the only thing I think I've actually struggled with trying to like adapt to my everyday living.
Yeah. Now I feel like a complete dirt because I always thought feng shui was just a form of interior decorating.
No,
it's the feng shui is all the practice of keeping the most abundant and positive energy flowing to
Stores,
you and to your home and to the people around you. So it's literally just like the biggest thing with feng shui I would probably say is like clutter or like and you can feel that, right? Like you can feel when you know you have a corner in your house that's full of stuff and you feel like icky. It's literally because there
anxious,
is
yeah.
stagnant energy sitting there because there's just like so much clutter in that area. But it's knowing what should be in certain places to attract that energy to move and to flow.
Exactly.
It's like Reiki for your house.
Well, and even architectures and stores today do it. The way
Absolutely.
how like the energy literally draws you into the front door. They're literally doing this feng shui on purpose to get you in, and they have like tables set up in a certain way so it stops you, and like it is literally a part of everyday life, and people don't even realize that they're being affected by it.
Even like a stadium.
Wow.
If you think of the flow of a stadium, right? You have like the center, and like, yeah, it makes sense if you're going to build something for people to watch a game. It makes sense this way, but there is also a certain energy flow to it. It's all coming to this main singular zone where everyone's watching, and then the seating, the way that it's like an incline that starts out and comes in, and everyone's energy
It's focusing.
and what they're using or not is being strictly powered into this one zone. So it's just like learning energetics that way, I think, is really powerful because then you can see how things connect even on a small scale. You know?
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. I've been getting into feng shui a little bit. I've been like, ooh. So when you said that, I was like,
you
ooh.
always keep that toilet seat down, okay?
Don't even get me started with that. I know.
That's the first thing ever. Always keep the toilet seat down.
Always.
Don't even flush with it.
Especially when you live with a woman or two
No,
or
I
three.
Just in general.
And don't
just in
ever let
general.
anything be in the front path of your front door, ever. Leave it. It needs to be open.
I'm going to tell you right here and now, not only my house, but especially my studio will probably drive y'all batshit crazy.
Oh, I drive myself
No, I
crazy.
have clutter. Oh, no, I have clutter. It's not clean in here by any means.
I feel like
I don't practice what I
struggle
preach.
with it. I struggle a hardcore ADHD brain. I will go through moments where only a few things are how they should be. But then it's like you look in the other room, and it's because I've taken all that shit and I've put it over there.
So you don't, yeah, it's out of
You
sight,
just
out of
close
mind.
that door. Just don't look.
Yeah.
Well, it's really funny because my aunt just moved to Florida and she left my mom and dad in charge to disperse all of her stuff. So we, have seating for, several people on the holidays and stuff. But I didn't take into consideration with 3 chairs and a wraparound couch and stuff like that. Hey, we got to put a Christmas tree up. So our front door is now blocked by 2 chairs.
Oh, no.
And so we have room against one wall for the Christmas tree.
For the Christmas tree.
My studio, I've got historical reenactment clothes back over here. I got the big ass desk here. I got Christmas stuff here. I got my proton pack sitting over here. I've got
Listen, my thing is, if we had bigger houses, we wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah,
I
tell
truly
me about
believe
it.
that.
The housing market needs to take
if I
that
had a
shit into
garage-
consideration.
I don't know, Brie. I feel like if
I
you had
had
more
a
room, you'd have
garage-
more stuff.
No, because most of the stuff that I have to deal with is my husband's stuff.
I
that
will
he
say
won't
your
let
front
go of.
porch. Your front
It's
porch is
all
a little
Josh's
cluttered.
stuff, which could all go into a garage, and I would never see it. So, like, that's all I need.
Just a garage. Maybe you need a little
Bigger
storage
house.
unit.
My wife comes in here to tell me goodbye when she leaves for work, and she'll come in on occasion when she comes home from work. Other than that, she does not come in this room because it's the only spare room here. So not only is it my studio, but also the overflow for the rest of the house.
Exactly. It's difficult. I feel you.
So what's in the future for,
TOTIWABA Enterprise.
the TOTIWABA enterprises? I mean, do you girls, now, are you both in the Las Vegas area, or I know we talked about this earlier, but I'm
No,
everything
I'm in
that's
Las
gone
Vegas.
on.
She's in the Bay Area.
And I'm where her family was from. So like
Yeah, she's
she
in
grew
our
up
hometown.
like right around
Yeah.
the corner from me.
Okay.
So like
Literally.
she'll come to visit.
I go there all the time.
But
Yeah.
she comes to visit just me mostly.
Yeah, I don't visit my
But
family.
she's obviously familiar with the area.
Okay. Well, the reason I was asking is, I mean, you guys have plans to travel around the country, to go to different locations. I don't know. Do you guys do the paranormal thing?
Yeah, we actually just recently went Bigfoot hunting out in the Sierra Nevadas of California.
Oh my God.
And we went out to the middle of nowhere and went and had some Bigfooting. It's on our channel. We did a whole show about it. We have some videos that we recorded when we were there, some audio, some stuff like that. And it was definitely, this was our first time, my first time Bigfoot hunting, Bree's second time or third?
Second.
And we had a lot of fun. It was definitely another life-changing experience for us. I will say when we did that, we saw a UFO. We encountered something that may or may not have been Bigfoot. We genuinely have no idea. Maybe more than one thing we experienced. It was wild. And so we hope to do more of those things in the future now that kind of COVID's lifted. Again, when we were audio, our podcast was so different. It was about specifically researching like cases and locations and things like that. And then when COVID hit, we had to do everything over video because we couldn't see each other. And so we took this turn into video. So we're trying to, even though we're on the internet, we're also going to try to take it off of the internet and do more things together and try to get the whole kind of gang together. Because there's 5 of us now. It's not just me and Bree anymore. There are 5 other people involved with us, or 5 people in total involved in our team now. So hopefully just more togetherness, more new content, more exploring and doing things. So I think
I want a
really
reality show.
I do. We really just need our own TV show.
I think we've been saying since like day one that, especially when we were doing cases, because then we got into state by state cases, and we would go to a state and we would find not just like UFO cases, but other weird shit that they had. And we would always find these spots where we're like, we need to go and visit.
We need to go.
This is where we have to go. And then we would
Mm-hmm.
look somewhere else and be like, we need to go here. This is the spot. Again, that's kind of like the thing I mentioned earlier of one of the things that excited me the most. We're finding these hot spots where all this crazy shit seems to happen in a certain location. And so I would, I think that's like one of the top of the dreams is to be able to just do that, just to be able to travel to those places and document and seeing all the things that we've learned about in person. That to me would be just amazing.
Yeah, like we have one of our guys, Bobby, lives in Texas, and I want to eventually go down there, and then we go over all the things in Texas that we've seen, and we tote around with each other and things like that, or we go to fucking Kentucky and visit Enzo and Tony and go and do those things, and so that's unfortunately those things cost lots of money, so we need funding for that.
I said reality.
So as soon as we can secure those things, for now we just do the things that we can afford. Like even our Bigfoot adventure cost us way too much money.
But if anyone from Vice is watching,
hooks up.
This is it.
Netflix, we're here. We were on a documentary not that long ago, so we're in the right direction.
And I was actually going to say when Bree was talking about it a few minutes ago, if anybody from Roku is watching,
yeah, hit us up.
Ever since Roku made it available to purchase your own Roku channel and upload your videos and stuff to it, that's been my goal.
Ooh,
I want to be the first YouTuber to only feature paranormal, cryptid, UFO abductions with YouTubers. None of this Las Vegas feller that wears black all the time with the glasses that goes around.
Baggins. You leave him alone.
I was not trying to mention a name.
I don't like his energy. So
I was not trying to mention the name because I have him and Aaron both on Instagram. So I was trying not to mention a name in case they just happen to.
All right, I'm sorry.
But
just cut it out.
I love Dak. I love Aaron. The guys are great. Don't get me wrong, but we're doing an investigation someplace, bringing in singers, bringing in actors, bringing in to help with these investigations. Bring in other paranormal. people. Bring in small-time paranormal people. Give them
Yeah,
that pat
like
on the back that somebody
I
gave you 20
don't
years
care
ago.
about Beyonce looking for ghosts personally. Like I'm not into that. That's not my thing. But if it was
And
a
see,
bunch of
that's
like serious like ghost hunters, I'd be like, oh, okay, what's going on here? I want to be at that one because they have the good fucking like data
hey,
stuff. They have the
Richie.
good equipment, all that shit.
I
Yeah,
feel
and
like a
see,
lot of us have abilities. A lot of us are
that's
connected in some sense. We have enough knowledge
yeah.
to make more connections, I think.
And that's why I thought it would be really, really cool to start a channel and only feature YouTubers or
Love it.
only feature podcasters
Get
and
Mr.
put their
Beast.
videos on the channel and let people see their investigations. See, I was going to do a big or a dog man expedition in October
That's
because
Ooh.
some
here in
scary shit right there.
Michigan, that's when the sightings start is around the beginning of October and about the second week of November.
Ooh,
But
I'm gonna stay at Chad's house.
I couldn't get the guys together to go out and camp for 3 or 4 days in Manistee State Forest
Oh,
and
it's all
follow
so
the old
cold
trail.
right
There's
now.
places in Manistee that would literally remind you of the Colorado Rockies. I mean, you're talking the Manistee River, you're talking 200-foot drops, sheer rock faces,
And it's
thick forest.
snowing now, right? Isn't it like full of snow right now?
Manistee does have some snow in it. We dump down here in the southwest part of Michigan. I'm only 15 minutes from Indiana. I'm so close to the south part of the state, it sucks. But
Lord of the
I know they have
Sticks.
some snow up there. Now, I mean, we're supposed to have a bad winter this year, so who the hell knows? They're talking about comparing it to the winter of '78. So who the
That's
hell
usually my
knows?
winter.
But yeah, I would absolutely love, I would love to get you girls here to Michigan in
Let's go.
October
Let's
to
Yeah,
do.
go.
you give me the plane ticket, I'm going.
Yeah. Listen, if
Nah,
we'll start a
don't fly,
fundraiser.
drive.
We're on the other side of the country, sir. The other side of the
Yeah,
country.
no, I'm
It's only about
flying.
it's only about 18 hours.
You know what? It's a
No.
long flight for me even. I've realized the older I get, the
Yeah.
more I cannot do flights. Like
Just
I
for
get so
Bree,
stir crazy.
just
I'm
for
just like,
Bree to get to where I am, it's about a 9-hour drive. Just for
and
her to
I
get to
fly.
Vegas, it's a one
Is
hour
it
And I
really
flight.
just
that far? I
It's
didn't
really
think it was
that
uh
that far.
far. No, it's really that
I was
far. To
just
drive across country, it
uh,
would be like several days. Ask Enzo. Enzo's done it from like whatever K state he lives in, Kansas. He went from Kansas to Vegas, and it took him like 2 days.
I
Wow.
can't. I'm too like okay, I just went to Chicago
It's
in June.
yeah, too long of a
And
flight.
even then I was so antsy. Oh my god. I was just like like I just can't handle it anymore. I think it's just like the
You
ADD gets worse the older you get and I just can't. I used to love flying and now I'm just like
you
I want to
you,
get it
you were
over with.
literally an hour and 40 minutes from me.
I'm like bobbing around like what are we going to do? I'm uncomfortable. I need to like, do some jumping jacks or something. I ate
I don't
two
like
Bree
flights.
saw the
edibles.
curve last time she flew and it scared her.
Yes, Brussels,
Brussels,
because the Earth is not flat, believe it or
it's
not.
just round. Enzo,
The
this is why I
sister's the
want the
same
travel
way,
van.
though.
Yeah, because it takes a long
I'm
time to travel.
ex-military. I got used to the curve 30 years ago. So flying
Just give
from
me a
Indiana to
gummy.
South Carolina. So, but
I
yeah, I love flying. It's just so damn expensive.
Yeah, it is
Oh
expensive. That's the
God, give me
problem.
first class,
But
thanks.
yeah, the longest flights I take are like an hour long. I just fly to California to breathe. That's all I go. That's all I do.
Mm, not
Wow,
that bad,
that's
eh?
No, not that
that's
bad.
cool.
Okay, so like flying wise, I mean, the longest flight probably is just like Florida and New York for me that I've done.
Yeah.
Um, Driving, I did when we moved to Florida the first time, or the only time I should say, we did drive from California here to Florida. And the driving, I guess, is easier than flying for sure because, flying you have to apply to all the rules and you can't just like get up and go crazy. Where I'm sure if I was driving, I could be like, pull over, so I can do some jumping jacks. I run around the car a couple of times and then get back in.
Bye,
I'm
Enzo.
about to lose my effing mind locked up in this damn thing. There's a rest stop ahead.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, right there, yeah.
It's a long flight to Hawaii, though, and you fly to Hawaii all the time.
Yeah, the last time, so the flight there was painful for me, and it was painful for my sister too. I looked down, and she's like rocking, and I was like, "Is she okay? Is she okay?" Because I gave her an Ativan, thinking it would like chill her out,
It did the
and
opposite.
she was still just like going crazy. The way back, we ate a bunch of gummies, and even then, still, I was like, "Get me home, get me home." Please.
Okay, we don't want to talk about gummies. We don't want to talk about gummies.
I'm sorry.
No, gummies are fine. My wife, Michigan being a rec state now, we have 2 dispensaries here in our little tiny village of 3,000 people.
Perfect.
And she just went out there and got some to help us go to sleep. And these things will knock your pee in the dirt, but they don't keep you asleep. I'm still up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
So
that happens to me even just with like normal weed. Or like I smoke a lot of hash pens. Same thing. Sometimes it has an adverse effect on me. Sometimes if I smoke at night, I'm not going to bed. I'm going to end up cleaning out a random drawer in my house that I haven't touched in weeks. I did that the other day, and I told my husband, I was like, honestly, I felt like I was on some fucking crack. I would have liked that shit in the middle of the day. That would have been perfect, but not at night. And I'm just like, I'm cleaning out a drawer. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking a million things a minute. It's like, I just never know.
Yeah, well, my people on here all remember me and the chocolate chip drop cookies earlier this year. So,
that sounds good.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I thought I was having a stroke.
Oh, that's the worst.
Oh, no,
you're too edible stoned that you think you're just, I'm stuck like this.
No, yeah, one time I did that. I worked at a dispensary and I thought I was fucking tough shit, and there was like 1,000 milligram edible, and I was like, I can eat that motherfucker, and I did, and I was trapped in a closet in a coma. My boss found me.
Yeah, no, it's like, I'm gonna die now. Like,
Yeah, I thought I was gonna fucking die. I was high for like 3 days, and I cried, and I didn't want to be high ever again.
Unfortunately, we're only talking about marijuana too. This is like, what?
Yeah, that's the sad thing about it. You guys all know how inexperienced I am. I tried smoking it when I was 16 years old. It had no effect on me whatsoever.
Ooh.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm smoking these things like cigarettes. Everybody else, one guy fell asleep with his Nike in the fire pit. And it was like, but no, when my mother-in-law lived here, she used to make me these amazing little chocolate chip drop cookies. And she moved out last year, got her own place in a retirement community here in town. And one of her neighbors does make special drop cookies. And I didn't know that. My wife's grandmother, who I take care of during the daytime, has real bad shakes and stuff. And they had made her drop cookies to help with her shakes. Well, these drop cookies always go on the table beside her where all of her other snacks go. For some reason, she moved them over by the bread box where the regular cookies and stuff are. And I went out there one morning at about 10 minutes till 8 before a live stream. Thought, oh, wow, there's 6 drop cookies right there. Mom must have thought about me and sent me love. And I ate all 6 of the little double hit bastards.
Yeah, you got high as shit, didn't you?
I got 12 hits in 10 minutes. I did my live stream. Got off my live stream at 10 o'clock in the morning, went straight up, made 3 grilled cheese sandwiches.
Hell yeah.
Went in, sat down next to the wife, and within an hour, I was high-stepping through the house because my equilibrium was gone. I felt like there was a vice grip on my head.
Yep.
I couldn't breathe.
Yep.
And it was the next day. She said, "Where's Grandma's cookie at?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't touch anything over there on her. She goes, she ever 6 little chocolate chip drop cookies. And I'm like, what? What?
Huh?
I said, now we know that I was not having a stroke yesterday. It was
No,
actually all 6 of them little sons of bitches.
Freaking wild.
So, yeah, that's my last experience. I, I don't hate anybody for doing it, but I say more power to you because you are a stronger mofo than I am,
Love
because
it.
I could not do it. So, all right. So getting back to the what's in the future for the TOTIWABA
Yeah.
ladies, what do you guys got planned for the new year?
Golden probes.
So we have at the end of the year we have the Golden Probes coming up, which is our award show about ufology that we started last year. And we're kicking it up again this year where we're giving out awards to people. If you didn't watch it last year, you won't understand. So I highly recommend going back and searching Golden Probes on our YouTube and watching it, because it is literally the most fun you'll have in ufology all year long.
Wow. I think I'd much rather have a golden probe than that other kind.
No, the Golden Probe is the best.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the Golden Globes, but the Golden Probes.
It's literally the highest honor.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. We put on a good show. You guys should go watch it from last year. And,
Voting for this year starts very shortly.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
probably like a big thing.
Somebody please drop the link to their now if I get this right, it's www dot that one
time I was abducted by aliens.com. The whole thing, the whole shebang.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I just found them when I typed in TOTIWABA ladies.
Oh, yeah,
Boom,
it'll
it
pop
popped
up. It's all over the internet.
We're just everywhere, baby.
The
But I
cat's
am
name
So
is
see,
Stinky.
you are
Oh,
as
yeah.
popular as OnlyFans stars.
We should be. At this point, I would love to probably make an OnlyFans with my clothes on so I could afford to travel the world and look at ghosts. Maybe that's what we should do. We should do it topless.
I'm not on here. I'm gonna drop the link in the private chat. That's for the Golden Probes. If you want to like recopy that and put that in your chat, because I'm not on YouTube. You guys should definitely watch that. You'll get a kick out of it.
You'll get a kick.
Everybody got a kick, even all the people that hated us.
Yeah, even the haters
They
liked
still
it.
showed up for the chat.
Trying to
That's
see
how the world works
here.
around here.
For sure.
I wish
Thank you,
Lindsay was
Nightmare.
Should have been like Stinky.
All right, there's that. And we'll go back up here, and hopefully this will. Come on. Get in. Okay, there we go. Copy clip tray. Back up to comments.
Yay. I see.
Back
Just as I
up to
said, I wish Lindsay was here.
comments.
She'd say Stinky.
Yes.
She was calls out Stinky. No.
Oh, what's Stinky doing?
Get out of here. You're going to step on that. Oh, fuck.
There we go.
There he
All right.
goes.
Well, I had some tacks, and now I don't, and I don't know where they are. And if
Well,
you get hurt, it's
your own
on
fault.
you.
Your cat sounds like mine. Mine thinks he's a people.
That's why
So
his
he
name's
plays with
Stinky,
it,
because
okay.
he's a little shit. I have another cat who's just a straight angel. Just angel from heaven. So handsome, so polite, just such a gentleman. He sits there just like so proper and behaved. And then I have this other one who's just thinks he's a baby, wants to jump anywhere. You leave the fridge door open for too long, you turn back around and he's in the fridge. He's just
That's Ralph. Yep, that's Ralph.
He's just all the time. I'm just like, but then he's so cute, and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, I know. How do you stay mad at something so cute?
So
can't.
adorable. And I'm like, ah.
Now, does Stinky have an affliction with like ice cream or pasta
Peppers.
or
If I have peppers,
peppers?
if I have jalapenos
Mm.
or like Anaheim, any type of pepper, like an actual pepper. And I know it
Mm-hmm.
drives him wild, but he can't stop. He rolls all around them like he's like trying to like make love to it or something. He just rolls all around and then he'll like eat it and be like, "Ah," and then he
And
runs
hates it.
around in a
Yeah.
circle. Then he comes back and he does the same thing. He just rubs and rubs, and it's the strangest thing I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
Wow.
You're gonna have to do that next time
That
I'm there.
I'm
that
just like,
link I just put up
stop.
there, guys, is for the golden probes.
Yeah, go watch.
Yeah. Yep.
If you want to have a
So
good
you
time,
It's
guys,
buckle
so
in,
good.
smoke a joint, grab some snacks. It's wild.
some
Features highlight
Funyuns,
a pepper on
maybe
the
some
camino.
Bugles and some Cheetos.
Exactly.
Very, very cool. So when you guys going to be able to get together next time?
Oh shit, I don't even
In
know.
person.
Soon, hopefully. Probably, maybe for New Year's.
Yeah, because when did I see you last? September? End of September?
End of September. That's when we went Bigfoot hunting. Yeah.
Yep.
So, Jade, is your significant other travel out there with you, or do you go out to visit her
No.
alone?
No, I go and visit her alone.
He's always traveling now.
He's always traveling. He travels
Oh,
for
yeah.
work. He's never home. He's home right now, which is a rare thing, but he leaves again on Monday. But he travels a lot, so he's never home.
He's a pirate.
He's a pirate. Yeah, travels the world. He does like birthday parties, like corporate events, stuff like that, dressed as a pirate. He's like world
very
known.
cool.
He does. He's
He doesn't. No.
Hey, Moose. Sorry, bud. I've been in here since 20 minutes till 7. And before that, I was cooking dinner, which I still have to eat.
Hey, Moose.
So I'm glad it's stuff that gets warmed up in a microwave
Actually,
very easily.
speaking of dinner, it's almost my dinner time as well.
Yep. Well, we're going to be ending this here in just a second anyway.
Timing.
Yeah, perf timing. Because it's what? It's about 6 o'clock
6 o'clock
or
my
so
time.
out
Yep.
there. Okay.
I'm thinking about the mashed potatoes and chicken that you're
I know. I'm
about
like,
to have.
I know mashed potatoes. I'm like, I'm
when you
hooked
mentioned
in.
dinner earlier, I got in my mind the chicken that I know your wife is making, and I'm like, I have nothing. I could heat a frozen pizza.
Maybe you just have to DoorDash something.
There you go. I just hope your DoorDash is better than ours here. My daughter's friend came over the other day when it was storming really bad, and she tried to DoorDash a couple hamburgers and a 2-liter of Coke. And an hour later, they called her back, so they still couldn't find a driver that wanted to make such a small order, make a small delivery. So, like I said, this is a town of 3,000 people, and that's the entire rural area around the town.
Yeah.
It's actually they're called villages in Michigan.
I love
for
that.
a good reason.
Yeah, because they're so small.
Wow. Yeah. The 2 lakes in this town actually encompass as much ground space as the town itself.
Whoa.
So, but
that's
I would like to. Yeah. I would like to thank everybody for coming in here tonight and making Jaimie and Bree feel welcome. Hopefully we'll see them in here more often. I definitely want to have them back and talk about, different experiences and more of what you guys have done and things like that. You've had some very interesting guests on your podcast. I'd love to hear about some of them sometime.
Absolutely.
But I again, thank you everybody for coming in here. If you girls want to hang around for just a minute, I'm going to end this. We will see you guys. Do not forget Sunday, mid-morning, there'll be another video out. We will be talking about Yeah, we're going to be talking about something. I don't even remember what the hell I did now. Oh yeah, I do.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it. We had so much fun.
And your chat is lovely too. Thank
Lovely.
you.
You know, we didn't get a chance to get too awful ornery in here tonight, but you know, I was ready because my people, they can just be pretty little bastards. But they're so
Ours too,
much
don't
fun,
worry.
and they always make me laugh, and that's what I love is the fact that you know I have people that always make me laugh.
Amen to that.
Because a lot of times I come on here in the morning for coffee, morning coffee and chat, and I ain't got a damn thing to talk about. So it's nice to have people in here that make me laugh. But you guys that in the chat, y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. We do. We'll catch y'all on Monday morning for morning coffee and chat, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern or 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll catch you then. Y'all take care and have a great weekend.
I was going to say 7 p.m. That's a late night coffee.
That's a late